Okay, so let's talk about Google's Pixelbook and why I switched to using one for my main device. Going back to the beginning as to how I got where I am now using my Google Pixelbook. At the time, I was using my Windows laptop as my primary device for all my work stuff, and I was getting little frustrations with the Windows update side of stuff where it would either interrupt me or I would go to start it up to do something in a hurry, normally for a customer on a tight deadline, and I'd have to sit there where else it said configuring updates, please don't turn off, and it would reboot itself and carry on configuring updates, and 15 minutes later I might be able to actually use my computer. So that was kind of niggling away at me for a little while, and one day it happened. I can't remember the day, but I just know I just had enough of it. It happened again, and I was just like, there's gotta be a better solution to this. Now, I completely appreciate, before you get started here, is yes, well, you could configure your Windows updates properly, you could do something silly like turn them off. I don't want to get into that. The point is, I just had enough, and I wanted to look around at completely alternate solutions away from Windows. So I played with some flavors of Linux in the past, like Linux Mint and Ubuntu, but I knew that wouldn't be for me, purely because there's certain things you have to do in it via the command prompt, and I'm not a Linux guru, I'm not a programmer, I don't write scripts, so that didn't interest me. But then there was Google Chrome OS, which I was interested in, because you don't have to get a Pixelbook, you can just get a normal Chromebook, and you can actually do what I did to begin with, and you could download and install something called CloudReady, which is a flavour of the Chrome OS, and you can install that on pretty much any computer. So that's actually what I did to begin with. I downloaded CloudReady and I installed that on an old computer at the office, and I started using it to test it out, and I absolutely loved it. I loved the boot time of it, I loved the speed and the responsiveness. It was really, really good. I couldn't do everything I needed to do for work on it, and I'll kind of touch on that a little more about the issues I have with the Pixelbook later on in the video. But I could do a lot of stuff on it, and I was really impressed with it. It was enough for me to go, yeah, I do want to try out a proper Pixelbook. The question you may have here is, well, why didn't you just carry on using CloudReady on existing hardware? The downside to CloudReady is there's no Google Play Store, which basically what that means to you is you can't go to Google Store to download apps and install apps, like, for example, Microsoft Office apps or a VPN app or actually different web browsers, maybe stuff like that. You can't do it. You get what's within CloudReady and that's it. You can't add anything to it. So that's why the reason I wanted to look at a proper Chromebook or Pixelbook, because I knew with them you would have access to the Play Store and I can download the apps I need. So I thought I would look around at what to do, and I decided on getting a Pixelbook. The reason being is the Pixelbooks are much higher spec than your standard Chromebook for like 200 quid or whatever, which I also have at home, by the way. I'll probably talk about that in another video maybe, but I needed something a bit fancier, a bit higher spec, because this was going to be my core business machine. So I landed on getting a Google Pixelbook because I got the higher spec. This is purely off the top of my head, the processor in my one's either an i5 or an i7, I can't remember, doesn't make too much odds to me, but it's one of them. It has at least 8 gig of RAM, it has a 256 gig SSD hard drive in it, so all the ticks were there. The one I got was a refurbished Pixelbook. The reason I went for that is because I wasn't fully convinced I would commit to using it in the long run, and a brand new Pixelbook is quite expensive. You're talking around about £1,000, and because I wasn't fully committed at this point, I was still kind of testing things out. I thought, you know what, I'm going to go for a refurb because I can always get rid of it again, or find a different use for it. So I plumbed for that, and it was great. The Pixelbook itself, the hardware, let's talk about that. It is fantastic. It's literally the best piece of hardware I've ever owned. That's right from the look and the feel to it, to how small and thin and light it is. The screen is amazing. The brightness, the colour contrast, the touchscreen side of it. And I even like the aspect ratio on it, which I know isn't to everybody's tastes. But I really, really like the screen. It is amazing. The keyboard, I'm a little bit geeky when it comes to keyboards. I love a good keyboard because I spend so much time typing. I really don't get on with like your cheap and cheerful standard keyboards anymore. The keyboard on my Pixelbook is basically the best keyboard I've ever used, I think. It's on a level with my Microsoft Surface keyboard. It is an absolute dream to use. It is fantastic. So overall, the hardware is amazing. Small, light, massive long battery life on it. Screen's amazing, keyboard's amazing. It is superb. Like, I can't stress it enough. I love it. Other things to talk about here is the speed of it. Now, that going back to one of the key reasons I started looking around was I was getting frustrated with Windows performance. The speed of the Chrome OS first and foremost overall is a really quick OS, but that combined on the really good hardware specs of a Pixelbook, it is super quick. I open the lid on it and it's ready to rock in like 10 seconds max. And when I'm actually using it, surfing the web, clicking on things, it is so quick and snappy, far quicker than my Windows machine, way quicker. It is amazingly responsive. It is lightning quick. It really is. There is just no downside to the performance side of stuff here. It is an amazingly quick device. So overall, the hardware and the speed, it is amazing, literally second to none. So let's talk about the stuff, my frustrations / problems with it as well though. So it is my core business machine, but as you will have seen if you've watched some of my other videos, I still of course use Windows a lot as well because of what I need to do, whether that's helping customers or doing certain tasks. I still have to use Windows, and I still have a Windows laptop, which is also great, by the way. It's not as good as my Pixelbook, but it is great for its particular job. So why do I need to jump back to Windows, I suppose, is kind of the question, the best way I can put this into context. What can I do on my Pixelbook that makes me fire up my Windows machines? So this is purely not down to me. I suppose the words I'm looking for, this is unique to me in what I use every day. So first and foremost, the Microsoft Office apps that you get via the Google Play Store for the Pixelbook or any other Chrome OS device, I don't like it. I can't fluff it up any other way. When you've used full-on Microsoft Office desktop application on a Windows device and then you use the app that comes via a thing, it's fine for basic tasks, a quick look at a document, a very basic thing of typing out a little letter or doing a very basic Excel sheet. It's fine, it's adequate, but can I use it for any kind of like whatever a proper Microsoft Office document is? I can't. I just don't get on with it, and I've even found it a little bit unreliable sometimes, with it randomly crashing or not opening my documents. So if I know I'm about to produce a lengthy Office document of some kind, I jump over to Windows straight away. Now, people might be able to work around that. People might get on better with it than I do. I just don't. It's not for me. So that's one reason. The other reason is, again, this is definitely unique to me, is the remote support software that we use as a business to look after our customers. Whilst there is an app for that as well on the Chrome OS, it's just not as good. It's just not as good as what of the equivalent on Windows. It can be unreliable, sometimes doesn't work at all, and when I am using it, it's clunky. I jump onto a Windows machine and it's a delight to use. So they are the two biggest things, the two biggest drawbacks for me. The remote support software we use as an IT business and the Microsoft Office apps aren't up to scratch. By the way, I know people will say, well, you can use Microsoft Office via your web browser. You're absolutely right, you can, and I do sometimes, but that's still not as good as full-blown Microsoft Office. So that's the things which make me fire up my Windows computers. Overall, I suppose what I'm talking about here is maybe 80% of the time I'm using my Pixelbook, 20% of the time is my Windows machine. So it hasn't completely replaced a Windows machine for me. I still have a requirement for that, but it's doing a hell of a lot for me. And overall, I highly recommend a Pixelbook. The hardware, like I said, is amazing. The operating system itself is super quick, super fast, and I do absolutely love it. But I have got them little niggles for what I do, which I can't quite do properly on the Chrome OS. Now, over time, that may improve. There might be new apps, new features, which make my particular issues go away. But for the meantime, I'm still using both. Although, like I said, the Pixelbook is an amazing bit of kit. So if you've got the budget and you're willing to check out something different, is what I'm saying. It is completely different to using Windows. It might not be for you at all, but do try it out. You could look at getting CloudReady on an old device first to give you an idea of what it's like, and go from there like I did. So it won't be for everybody, but overall it's a super operating system. And the techie side of stuff, it's ultra secure as well. I do like that side of stuff with its encryption, built-in AV protection, all that kind of funky stuff. It is amazingly well protected as well. That's the big thing to point out here for businesses, is it is arguably more secure than Windows. That's another killer reason to explore it as well. Okay, so I think I'm going to wrap it up for today. I've gone on far too long than I should have, but yeah, it was just because I suppose I get quite excited about my Pixelbook, so there we go. So if this video has been useful in any way, please do smash the like button. It really helps with our YouTube channel. It really helps spread the word. And please do sign up and subscribe to our channel. We're pushing out new content all the time, and you'll get an alert when we do produce the new videos. And also check out the links to my Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn feeds as well, which are all down below. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks again.